Good evening, our esteemed guests. Welcome to the launch event of Headquarters MENA Bridge for Startups program. My name is Hussam Al-Wafai, the Chief Programs Officer at Headquarters, and I will be your MC for this evening. First, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which we are meeting today, the Bonorong Boon Wurrung and the Wurundjeri Woi Wurrung, people of the Eastern Kulin Nation. We pay respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and elders from other communities who might be with us today. Quick housekeeping notes. The guest bathrooms are the ones here on level 2. You just go out of the gate and go left down the hall near the glass door. Someone there should, lead you. Photos and videos will be taken throughout the event and will be shared later online. So if you don't want your photo to be shared online, please approach one of our team members to let them know your preference. And finally, as a COVID-safe precaution, please, if you are leaving your seat to go to the bathroom or somewhere else, please put on the mask. Also, may we give a round of applause to our awesome musician, Vincent Wang, playing the cello. Mr. Wang has performed previously in Carnegie Hall, Hammer Hall, and Beijing Opera House, and tonight he will be playing more during the dinner. Thank you, Vincent. Looking forward to that. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight, and for everyone around the world tuning in virtually. It's a great honor to have with us, attending in person here at the City of Melbourne Town Hall, Ambassador of Morocco, His Excellency Mr. Karim Medrek, Consul General of Egypt, Mr. Yasser Hashem. It's a great honor to have also with us, attending virtually, Head of Economic and Culture Department in the Embassy of Saudi Arabia, Mr. Rakan bin Abdessalam Sadoun, Second Secretary of the Embassy of Qatar, Mr. Mohammed Al-Badr, and Head of Innovation and Business Development in King Faisal University in Saudi Arabia, Dr. Miqbil Aidan. Thank you all for being here tonight and for sharing with us this great occasion. The most important bridges of the past were made of iron and concrete. The most important bridges of the future will be made of communities and network. We are used to building bridges in order to connect people and markets. Now we are connecting people and markets in order to build bridges. Today we are gathering here to celebrate the launch of our first global bridge and a milestone for the Australian innovation ecosystem. This program is designed and implemented by Headquarters, an innovation hub, on a mission to accelerate the success of technology and innovation-centered businesses. Our methodologies are human-centric, supported by data-driven analysis and strategies to address the most pressing challenges that are calling for entrepreneurs and innovators here in Australia and globally. Over the last 6 years, since the inception of Headquarters, we have summoned massive experience and built a vast network and a sophisticated ecosystem of entrepreneurs, startups, professionals, service providers, investors, and government representatives, allowing us to deliver an enormous value to our clients at every stage of their journey. Together with MoWorks, our sister company and key partner for this program, we have served and supported the growth of more than 100 startups, companies, and government agencies. And we are just warming up. Today, it's our pleasure to share with you our largest and most sophisticated program yet, supported by the Australian government grant through the Entrepreneurs Program, the City of Melbourne, MoWorks, the Victorian Government Trade and Investment Office, Global Victoria, and Invest Victoria, to put the cornerstone to Headquarters' first global bridge between Australia and the Middle East and North Africa region, or MENA. We are beyond excited to have you with us today, and as we officially announce the program and open the application process. The agenda for today will start with an opening speech from the Director of Economic Development and International, Mr. Andrew Weir, representing the City of Melbourne. Next, our co-founder and CEO, Ayman Hamdouna, will introduce the H MENA Bridge for Startups program, followed by words from our partners. Then we will have a panel discussion with two amazing founders where our attendees here in the room and virtually can ask questions about their experience and motivation to join our program. And then this will be the end of the virtual program, and our guests here in the room will proceed to dinner. I'm very honored to present to you our first speaker for this evening, the Director of the Economic Development and International for the City of Melbourne, Mr. Andrew Weir. Andrew has a rich and extensive experience in public policy, occupying multiple executive positions, including serving as Director at the Department of Premier and Cabinet, leading the provision of advice to the Premier in a variety of policy areas, followed by the role of the Director of Innovation at the Victorian Department of Jobs, Precincts and Regions, playing a key role in multiple initiatives, followed by his current role as the Director of Economic Development and International, responsible for partnerships, city economy, international education, and international relationships, and currently leading the city's economic response to COVID-19. Without further ado, please join me to welcome Director Andrew Weir.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, good evening, everyone. On behalf of the City of Melbourne, I too would like to respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Boon Wurrung and Woy Wurrung Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. Pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. I'd also like to acknowledge some key people we have in the room today, both physically and virtually. His Excellency, Mr. Karim Medrek, Ambassador of Morocco, Mr. Yasser Mahmoud Hashem, welcome. Consul General of Egypt, Mr. Yusuf Ramoun, Economic Councillor, Embassy of the Kingdom of Morocco, Mr. Rakan Al Sadoun, Head of Economic and Cultural Development at the Saudi Embassy, and Mr. Mohammed Al Badar, Second Secretary and Ambassador of Qatar. So welcome. And welcome to all of us as well. How amazing is it to be meeting face to face again after such a big lockdown? So it's incredible. Certainly in the startup sector, in all economic development sectors, relationships and interpersonal gatherings such as these play such a critical role. So it's fantastic to be back. Welcome to the Melbourne Town Hall and its famous portico balcony here. In 1964, the Beatles stood right here, this very spot, waving at the crowds down below on Swanston Street. 15,000 people, 15,000 Beatlemania fans were down there screaming down on Swanston Street below us, and must have been quite a sight. Now it's us here today. But I don't have to tell anyone here in the room tonight how difficult COVID-19's been. It's been quite a year. It's been really challenging for the Victorian economy. The City of Melbourne economy was actually one of the more impacted municipalities in Australia. And the reason for that is because the City of Melbourne is very concentrated in the city. Normally you get about 1 million people every day coming into the central city. They come to the CBD for work or to visit. And the City of Melbourne, we measure the pedestrian movements throughout the city in a variety of locations. And in the midst of the pandemic, what we were tracking was the pedestrian movements in the city were down 90% on what they would be in a typical period. And that had some big impacts for us. We're estimating that there's approximately 79,000 fewer jobs in the City of Melbourne now as a result of COVID. And that the impact on the city economy will be cumulatively about $110 billion over the next 5 years. Two of our biggest sectors have been really dramatically impacted: international education and tourism. And here at the city, we've pulled out all the levers at our disposal. We've tried everything to help support our community, our ratepayers and our businesses. So in partnership with the Victorian Government, with whom we have a really fantastic working relationship, we oversaw quite a number of multi-million-dollar business support initiatives. Initially, we rolled out a $50 million recovery package, which included a range of support to businesses, including the business concierge service, which is where we've spoken with more than 20,000 businesses across the city and helped them with a range of support that's been available. We provided grants to arts organisations and artists. We've fast-tracked more than 40 kilometres of bicycle lanes. We've built more than 200 outdoor dining parklets where outdoor dining has taken over on-street car parks. It's really transformed the city. For those of you who've been out and about, you would have seen it. So we've seen the rollout of Australia's vaccine program is just about to start, or has just started. Started this week, actually, and it's such a really critical time. And we get the sense that we're on the cusp of the recovery. It's time for us to regain our confidence and to get back to the city again, get back to face-to-face interactions exactly like this one. We really need to it's time to start harnessing our creativity again and continuing to work internationally, building those bridges, building those relationships across the world to find new opportunities. That's why programs like the MENA Bridge and this program is so important. Traditionally, I think in Melbourne, we haven't invested as much as we should have in the Middle East and African markets. We've tended to opt for markets that are better understood, like Europe and North America and increasingly China. But I think that's really important that we do invest in MENA. And so that's why I'd like to commend Ayman and his colleagues on starting MENA Bridge. Well done. Yeah. So this program is going to provide Melbourne startups with new knowledge, skills and opportunities to connect and succeed in sophisticated new markets in places such as the UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia and Morocco. Fantastic opportunities. And so at that, I'd like to wish everyone involved in MENA the greatest success on your journey this year. It's going to be great. It's the start of something big. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew, and thank you for the City of Melbourne for supporting our program. Now, to reveal our program, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our co-founder and CEO, Ayman Hamdouna. Ayman is a leader in the startup industry with passion to empower those solving the world's problems through business and innovation. He has dedicated the past decade to the growth of the startup ecosystem. He founded the first collaborative community for international entrepreneurs in Melbourne to bridge the gap between entrepreneurs from around the world and the local startup ecosystem. Ayman co-founded HQMBS in 2015, which grew to become the amazing innovation hub it is today, working hand in hand with some of the brightest entrepreneurs and winning the Tech Diversity Merit Award in 2019 in the education category. Ayman is also a committee member of the Australian Arab Chamber of Commerce in Victoria and a member of the Rampersad Venture Capital Inclusion Advisory Board. And above all, he is my business mentor and a friend. Please give a warm welcome to the CEO and founder of HQMBS, Ayman Hamdouna.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. It is a true pleasure to be sharing this moment with all of you. Dear honorable guests here in the room and online, thank you for being with us today and for tuning in. As Hussam introduced, my name is Ayman Hamdouna. I am the co-founder and CEO of HQMBS. We live in a great era of connectedness and technological advancement. Innovation is happening fast and faster than ever. And the pandemic has accelerated this innovation more than we ever have expected before. But the more we advance in technology, the more we understand the value of our humanity. That's why we in HQMBS believe that the future is human-centric, connected, and bright. From my own experience, there are two valuable factors that will help us continue in driving innovation. Those factors are technology and diversity. Technology is enabling the world to become increasingly more productive, efficient, and connected. Diversity of people enables businesses to generate more value due to the diversity of thoughts, ideas, and perspectives. Technology is enabling the world to become increasingly more productive, efficient, and connected. Diversity of people enables businesses to generate more value due to the diversity of thoughts, ideas, and perspectives. and connections. Together, technology and diversity are driving innovation globally and remain of the highest significance in this age, both in Australia and the entire world. There is no doubt that Australia is one of the most thriving economies in the world. Technology and research is growing and excelling over a wide range of industries, such as fintech, agri-tech, health tech, sport tech, to name a few. The Australian workforce, and we have a lot of you here today, is talented, professional, and hardworking. Australian population is one of the most culturally diverse in the world. Look around you in this room. You will find a person from each point of this globe. Immigration are a major contributor to the population and economic growth in Australia and around the world. Immigrants in Australia are welcome and integrated. The program we are sharing with you today celebrates the great potential of combining those two factors, diversity and technology. Looking back at my journey, at the journey we took to be here today, I have to admit, like many of you, and as Andrew has mentioned, COVID has affected us and have affected us hard. We had just moved to our new co-working space, and on the 18th of March 2020, we were about to launch the HQ Tech Tank event series, the first event at our new co-working space. We truly had a big plan for 2020. That all stopped when COVID started. Our new space was completely shut down, and the launch event was canceled, and all purchased tickets were refunded. While I'm an entrepreneur, I am confident and I am comfortable with uncertainty. However, the COVID shutdown has put huge pressure on us. But we had big plans for 2020, and I wasn't going to stop. In the background, the team and I had been working on an ambitious plan and have already started our application to the incubator support from the Australian Department of Industry. The lockdown gave us the motivation to focus our energy on perfecting this plan and doubling down on our international relation and making this plan a reality. And here, I would love to give a huge credit to the Australian, Victorian, and the City of Melbourne governments for the tremendous work they have done in order to manage this pandemic and keep us functioning effectively and efficiently. We may have gone through hiccups, but nothing will stop Australia. The program we are celebrating today came out of true community collaboration, a great example of how governments, private organizations, and investors can come together to drive innovation globally, a true manifestation of HQ's mission to utilize technology and diversity to help drive innovation from Australia to the world and from the world to Australia. We recognized early that we can best enable these connections through micro-bridges, communities, and networks, connecting the world to each other to form a one global bridge together, to support and connect, to exchange knowledge, value, and information, to combine the strength to solve challenges faced by industries and harness opportunities brought to us by technologies. The first bridge we are building and bridging is between Australia and the Middle East and North Africa. The MENA region is growing and going through an amazing economical transformation from dependency on exporting commodities into diversified economies, powered by innovation, knowledge, and community. as well as technology. The population of the MENA region is over 400 million people who share common language, amazing cultures, and rich history. A GDP of more than 3.6 trillion US dollar. The MENA is one of the most important emerging markets in the world. This market is ready for the next age of technology and solutions. Venture capitalists poured over $1 billion into the MENA startup in 2020. During my journey in designing this program, the MENA startup and investment ecosystem, as well as the government agencies, have been welcoming, warm, and forward-thinking. Now, I would like to share with you why we have built this bridge. Please, team, can you share the video?
Australia is one of the world's most thriving economies, home to some of the most successful technology startups. Technology, science and innovation are creating incredible new economic and social opportunities for Australia. Australia is also known for having one of the most culturally and linguistically diverse populations in the world. Immigrants are a major contributor to the population and economic growth in Australia, and this is also reflected in the inclusive and diverse community of the local startup and technology ecosystem, making Australia a big technology and innovation hub with strong connections all over the world, including the Middle East and North Africa region, or MENA, a fast-growing market with a large population and amazing culture that has one of the highest digital penetration rates in the world, making it market-ready for new international technology and businesses. This is why we want you, Australian tech innovators, to access the untapped potential of the MENA region. How? Through the first program of its kind. Introducing the MENA Bridge for Startups, a global bridge program delivered by HQGB that will take Australia's booming tech innovation to the emerging markets in the MENA region.
This program will give exceptional Australian tech businesses the tools and connections they need to enter and succeed in the booming MENA region. Participants will receive mentoring and support to hone their offering, value proposition, market readiness, and their ability to scale.
Make connections with key stakeholders both here in Australia and internationally, and learn the know-how to negotiate and talk deals. And be backed by the HQGB network with business experts and entrepreneurs who have launched successfully and expanded internationally.
We are working with amazing partners in that region and in Australia to bring you this program and to support you with your expansion. If you're a startup, if you're a scale-up, if you're an investor from Australia or from the Middle East region, please connect with us.
Ready to expand and succeed?
Join us.
Join us.
The MENA Bridge for Startup is a global bridge, and it is designed to give Australian technology companies the tools and channels to connect with the MENA markets, as well as succeed with connecting with the stakeholders there, to share with the region what Australian technology companies are doing and how they can help in the transformation that the region is going through. This project has received a grant funding from the Australian government through the incubator support as part of the program. It is also supported by the City of Melbourne and the Victorian government through the Office of Investment and Trade in the Middle East, as well as MoWorks, our sister company. Together, we look forward to working with established, defensible, and scalable Australian businesses that can add value and collaborate with the MENA region markets and ecosystems. This 6-month program, requiring flexible hours from startups, entrepreneurs, experts. It is lean and it is agile. We will be working with startups and we will integrate to their team to help them connect successfully. Their success will be our success. There are many organizations and individuals who have significantly contributed to the inception, development, and realization of the project. I would like to extend my gratitude and appreciation to you. I would like first to thank our partners and sponsors. MoWorks, thank you for being there since the beginning, even before we launch. The City of Melbourne and the team of economic development, thank you for supporting HQMBS since day one. The Victorian Government, Trade and Investment Office, Global Victoria and Invest Victoria, thank you for your continued support. And of course, again, thank you to Oz Industry, the Incubator Initiative team, for you and the trust that you have put in us. I can't wait to share with you the outcome of this program, or the outcomes. For all the community and partners and supporters, past, present, and the future, in Australia and around the world. LaunchVic, the Victorian Government Startup Agency, thank you for igniting HQMBS growth. The Ministry of Investment of Saudi Arabia, thank you for your trust and support so far. King Faisal University Innovation Hub team, thank you for your collaboration, and I look forward to working with you. Capital Alliance, thank you for welcoming us in your properties. The Australian Arab Chamber of Commerce for the insight and connections. Intaj for helping us to connect with the tech ecosystem in the Middle East. FinTech Galaxy, FinTech Australia, Impact Tech Ventures, and finally Qatar FinTech Hub. Thank you to our experts, entrepreneurs, mentors. Thank you for your trust. Finally, to my team, Mo, Scott, Hossam, Andrea, Jazz, Vivianka, Van, and anyone I forgot because I'm always stressed here. Thank you for all the support that you have given me. To the community, thank you, you are HQMBS. As I said, we had big plans for 2020. The plans didn't go as planned, however, the year was big. Today, I am confident to say that in 2021, we have huge plans. We look forward to having all of you part of it. Thank you for being here and enjoy the rest of your evening or morning if you're tuning on with us virtually. Finally, one more thing that is irrelevant to the program, but really relevant to myself. Thank you to my mother and happy birthday. It is your birthday today and this celebration is for you. Have a great evening and thank you everyone for being with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayman. Thank you for these words. I would like to jump to the panel discussion. And it's my pleasure to host two amazing founders, Anna Wright, the CEO and co-founder of Bindi Maps, a navigation app revolutionizing the way we navigate indoor spaces, and Dennis Savick, the CEO and co-founder of Savick Motorcycles, Australia's leading developer of electric motorcycles for the high-performance market. Anna and Dennis, I would like to invite you to the stage. So Anna and Davis, welcome to our event. Thank you for joining this discussion panel. May I start by asking you to tell us more about yourself and about your venture? Where you would like to start?
Sure. So my name's Dennis Savich. I'm the founder of Savich Motorcycles. It's been my dream to build an automotive business since I was very, very young. So it's a long time coming, like 14 years or something. Found a gap in the market 5 years ago, knew it was going to be electric motorbikes and started trying to understand how vehicle development works. Spent a couple of years in a workshop figuring out how to weld and put battery packs together and things like that. Ended up getting a job at Ford 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago now. So got some automotive experience there and went full time in June last year when we closed our seed rounds. We launched our production prototype end of last year and just about sold out of our first production run. And yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Thank you. And now?
All right, thank you everyone. My name's Anna Wright. I have a very different startup. So Bindi Maps, we help anyone navigate an unfamiliar public building like this one. But we work mainly with very large hospitals, universities, shopping centres, things like that. So while anyone can use our app now, we originally made it for people who are blind or vision impaired, because once they're in a space like this, they need to get help. If they're on their own, they need to be asking a stranger. And it's just not a really nice, inclusive environment to have people in. And the reason I came up with that idea is I actually have a vision impairment. I should be completely blind myself. And I just say that I'm lucky, unlucky, lucky, however you put it, that my surgeons were able to save my sight. But I had gone through a lot of what we call orientation and mobility. So I actually know how to use a white cane, but I don't need one, which is fabulous. But now with Bindi Maps, nobody will need to ask a stranger for help in an unfamiliar building.
Thank you very much. Both amazing stories. And may I say, like, I have compassion for you, Anna, and for Dennis. I am a mechanical engineer, so this is like, music to my ears. I think I will follow up on what Mr. Andrew said about when, the market here tries to look into a global market where they target first. So I would like to know, you as an Australian startup, when you think of global expansion, what are the markets that you think of first?
Me? Good question. So where do I start with this? Well, the first thing we look at is what's already selling on the market and what volumes are selling where. And then the black magic starts to happen and you're trying to guess who is going to adopt newer technologies the fastest. And I guess part of the reason why we were interested in the MENA program when Eamon told me about it is that the Middle East and Africa, from what I've read and understood, are supposed to have the fastest growth rate of e-motorcycles in the world, which came to me as a complete surprise. And so now we're looking at a product specification that might suit that market and might suit that use case. But when we look at global expansion, we look at the size of the market, the rate of growth, the rate of technology adoption, supply chain, marketing efforts required to get into that market, and all of the above. It's quite a big question. How much time have we got?
It depends on the guys in the back if they can solve the problem or not.
Yeah, I think that covers it for me. Do you want to go?
Sure. So when we're thinking about global expansion, it's a little bit different because everybody's got shopping centres and hospitals and the like. But for us, English is our language. So we have a team of 10 and I think we've got about 15 languages between us. But when we're looking at navigating somebody who's blind around, of course, we're going to give audio descriptors. And it's not just a straight Google Translate. So we need to think about having really rich language that's very informative with as few words as possible. So that idea of moving into another language is where we need to make those connections really so that we get that cultural context of what's appropriate. So of course, as Andrew said, the familiarity of I'm from European descent, so to go across to England, United States and the English-speaking countries is quite an easy thing for us to be thinking about. But I like to challenge myself and to think about other markets as well.
Thank you very much, Anna. And Dennis already answered this question like implicitly, but then to you, what did you first think when you heard about Headquarters program to take startups to the MENA region?
So, like I said, the MEA or MENA is supposed to have the highest growth rate, but I have zero network over there in terms of market expansion or investment or anything like that. And so the thing that interested me when Eamon and I talked about it was, well, maybe Eamon could be my bridge to help me build a network over there of investors, potential distributors, and just try and understand the market, understand the people, understand the product use cases, so that we can make sure we can deliver the best possible product for that rapidly growing market.
Thank you. Anna?
I think my answer is exactly the same. So it's the opportunity to learn and really get to understand from experts and get those connections, understand the culture, and all of those things that I just think is so valuable when you can actually sit down with people and talk person to person, and really get an understanding of those markets that way.
Absolutely, and that's why the last part of our program is actually an in-market experience. So the finalists will have the chance to sit face to face with stakeholders there. And I really, what you mentioned resonates a lot with our market research when we were preparing for the program. That familiarity with the market was an issue, and this is what we are trying to, hopefully bring in with this program. Now, Anna, you will be one of our experts. So I would like to, to share with our audience what you will bring, to the experts, what topics you're gonna consult them with, and what outcomes you hope to get out of the program.
Sure. So my background is in finance and consulting. So I've spent a lot of time working with startups in my prior life, helping them with capital raising, R&D grants, all of those things. Even just, I find that startups are sometimes a little bit loose on their business models and things like that. So I quite enjoy that work. So that's what I'm hoping that I'll be able to bring to the program. And then at the same time, I will be looking at really trying to learn as much as I can from all of the participants. I love startups and I love startup founders, and I love talking to other mentors. So I think it's going to be really cool.
Great, thank you. And we really look forward to having you as an expert. Dennis, as a startup interested in the MENA market and expanding there, what do you expect to get when you hear that there is a bridge to the MENA region?
A really fun trip. No, look, I mean, there's a saying at Toyota, being an automotive person, I read books on automotive things, as fun as that sounds, where they have a saying that says, look and go see. And so if you want to go and understand a market, understand how another operation operates, physically go there, absorb the culture, absorb the people, experience the food, the smells, the traffic, and really try and ingrain yourself in the culture. And I was lucky enough while I was at Ford to build a team in India, never been there before and had no idea what to expect. And that was just an extraordinary experience. I had to operate a completely different way while I was there leading a team to the way I operate here. It's a lot more hands-on, and they're phenomenal people, and you can't drink the tap water. That's a new one. I don't know what the case is over there, but yeah, just experience a completely different world. Yeah,
absolutely. And I really hope that our program will bring this experience to all the participants. I think I'm done with my questions, and I would like to open the Q&A for our audience, starting from this room. So please, what questions do you have to the panelists? What do you want to know about them? Alexia?
I'm very interested in how you are doing the combination of market research and cultural connectivity, and what role do you think that plays in your product?
Thank you. I think it plays a huge role in our product. So obviously, anyone who's used to using Google Maps knows that when you're sighted, you get that little line. But when we're dealing with somebody who's blind or vision impaired, it is all about the language. You may not know this if you don't know anyone with vision impairment, but they already have very high levels of anxiety. So even in this sort of environment where we've got all of that background noise, it makes it very hard for somebody who's relying on their hearing to understand what's happening in this space. So to make sure that the language doesn't create any additional anxiety, to make sure it's culturally appropriate and all of those things, I think, is so important, because we don't want to promise something that we can't deliver. That's always deadly in startup world.
Thank you, Anna. Any other question? Okay, then I will ask Dennis my question. So Dennis, you mentioned that now as you are considering the MENA market, you are starting to see what kind of specifications that you need to adapt. May I have like a more idea about how you're going to achieve this? You know, in what regards? It's only regulations, or is it also market experience, like a user experience?
Good question. So in terms of how we scope what products we're going to develop, it's a multifaceted problem. Part of it is where do we want to play? So do we want to play high volume, low cost? Do we want to play high cost, low volume? How many of each type are we going to sell? What's that going to mean for the brand? How are we going to distribute? What's our supply chain look like? So in terms of how we're going to spec out what product we're going to do, I think we're going to have a multi-international market approach to the product that we bring to the MEA. I think there's going to be quite a lot of crossover between the South American market and the MEA in terms of the use cases, but I'm not sure. We'll find out when we get there. Is that we try and minimize production complexity. So we don't want to have 20 different products for 5 different markets. We want to have a few products for 20 different markets. And so I don't know what the population density is like. I haven't done enough research on that region, but I suspect it is similar to the South American market, possibly some regions of China. And so we're going to look at developing a product specifically for that market.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very much. I was hoping to have questions of our audience in the virtual event. Are we able to do that? Okay. Then I would like to ask kind of a closing question, it's both of you. What advice would you give to a startup listening to us right now and considering that, yes, I would like to discover the MENA market?
The question was, what advice would we give someone who wants to discover the MENA market?
I mean,
going global in general? Good question. You've got an answer?
I think it's the same advice I'd give to any startup, is to first really understand your customer. So who is using your product? Why are they using it? What are their pain points? What do they want? You know, what problem are you solving for them? For me at Bindi Maps, we have a double-sided marketplace because our customers are the building owners and our users in the beginning were people with vision impairment, and now we've extended that, which sounds it's what you're doing as well as extending your market. But then that just is more work to just really understand that person. So then, of course, going into a different market, it's back to that cultural piece. Thank you for your question. That you do really understand that country, those people, their problems, which is what you were talking about before as well.
There's a really good book called, what's it called? Where to Play and How to Win. I think that's a really good book. If anyone hasn't read that, it basically, yep. I think so, yes, yep. Really, really good book. Would recommend that to every founder. As you said before, sometimes the business models are a little bit loose, and that'll definitely whip you into shape.
I think, am I on? Okay, thank you. Well, any other questions from the audience, please?
Yeah, I'm just wondering about when you're going to new market, and which standards are you following for your business model? So like here in Australia, it's totally different to another country. So which standard are you follow, or is there any base to go to?
Really good question. So being a startup, we don't have the resources that a large OEM has, right? So some OEMs have teams of people monitoring standards, making sure that it's going to work. So we had to try and design a design, which we've got now, to a standard that we think is going to be universal. So I think the most common certification is the EU certification. It's too expensive and we've got to get a bike over to Spain. If something goes wrong, we've got to fly it back. We don't have the resources for that. So our strategy as a business has been to start in Australia, start small, but in a manner that allows us to be profitable and scalable quickly. And so in the second stage, as we look to expand internationally, that's when we'll start going for the EU certification. So we've tried to find something that is as applicable to as many markets as possible, and that seems to be the EU.
Thank you. Very good question. Cameron.
Hello, thank you. A question regarding obviously the markets. Do you find the Australian market particularly harder to crack compared to some of the other nations or continents that you're looking to break into?
Was that for me or both? Do you want to go first?
For us, where we're working, we actually find the Australian market is pretty good because we've got very strong diversity and inclusion rules. But then there are other countries that have even better ones. So through Scandinavia and places like that. And that's the sort of the thin edge of the wedge that we use to get into a customer. So yeah, it does change, but it's been good in Australia. Australia's been very good to us.
I think for us, it's probably the same answer. The Australian market's been very receptive to our product. And I mean, we pre-sold the first production run without a single test ride. And the other point is we're possibly one of the only e-motorcycles available in Australia that doesn't cost an absolute fortune. So we've had a lot of success in Australia so far, and hopefully that'll continue. And when it comes to penetrating an international market like potentially North America, I think that's going to be a lot more challenging. But the customer, the reason why people acquire our product or download our app is probably pretty different between the two of us, I'd say. So yeah, I think it's really going to be interesting, and it's going to be very, very market dependent. And we've got a lot of brand strength in Australia. Being an Australian motorcycle business, it is somewhat historic, which adds a lot of value.
Thank you both of you. I have a question here from Saeed, I think.
Thank you, Dennis. Question to Dennis is, what is your target market and how did you come to be identifying your target market?
Both? Do you want to go first?
So for our target market that has resonated the best for us in Australia has been shopping centres, because they're trying to improve their customer experience, and people lose their cars in car parks. We can help you put a pin on your car so you'll get back to it. But from that, we've moved into hospitals and into tertiary education. And for me, I have been an academic for quite a few years, and for somebody with a disability to have a tertiary education gives them a 60% greater chance of having a full-time job. So my passion is that we can get into universities and help everybody with a disability get that education so that they can be a contributor to their own society rather than just a consumer. So that's our sort of target market for our customers.
I'm probably going to give a slightly different answer and talk more to the demographic. Being a motorcycle business, we are quite a male-dominated industry. I think Instagram's 50-50 male to females, and our Instagram audience is 98 or 99% male. to female. So that's just, you can't really ignore that. In terms of people that have actually ordered our bikes, we have 47 male pre-orders, and we acquired our first female customer, which we're super excited about. Thank you. Yeah. And she's asked for a custom rose gold body color, and I'm super excited to build that. I think that's going to be awesome. So yeah, in terms of our demographic, we weren't really sure. We have a relatively high price point. We assumed it was going to be men between the ages of 30 to 55, and yeah, we were pretty well spot on.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think we are getting to the end of the discussion. Again, thank you, Anna and Dennis, very much for being in this panel and for answering all our difficult questions. So now officially our program is, commenced. Next, I would like to share a special word prepared by one of our amazing partners, Dr. Miqbel Aidan, Head of Innovation and Business Development in King Faisal University in Saudi Arabia.
First, let me say how grateful I am to take part in the launch of HQGB, MENA Bridge for Startups, with so many accomplished speakers. Indeed, it is a very promising program that is brilliantly designed to pave the way, pave the road for Australian startups to penetrate our region, the MENA region. And as the Head of Innovation and Business Development at King Faisal University, I am certain that the university can substantially contribute to the success of the program in two fundamental ways in particular. Our field experts can transfer their specialized knowledge and know-how to those Australian startups whose business is mainly concentrated on science and technology, while our business experts can bridge the learning divide of these startups by providing them with deep market insights and analytics in the context of Saudi Arabia. At the end, we look forward to closely working with you as we move in this direction, and hopefully welcome you soon here in Saudi Arabia, specifically here at King Faisal University. And thank you.
Next, some of our experts recorded and shared with us their thoughts about joining the program, and I would like to share with you their words so you can get an idea about the caliber of the experts that will be working with the program participants on their journey to global expansion.
Hello, my name is Tim Holman, and I'm the co-founder of the Brand Terminal Group. For the past few years, I've been working with big global brands and helping them to launch into new markets. And now, I couldn't be more excited to be working with HQGB on their MENA Bridge for Startups program. This is a wonderful initiative for Australian tech companies looking to take the next step into a global footprint and accelerating their success through the MENA ecosystem. I couldn't be more excited to be a mentor and to be a collaborator with you all, and can't wait to get started.
Hi everybody, my name is Peter Grzybowski, and I bring years of corporate and startup experience to this program. We are at exciting times where we can bring a strong cohort of Australian companies and startups and connect them with the MENA market. This is an interesting and fantastic journey that we're about to go on, and I can't wait to be part of it with you.
Hello everyone, my name is Mahmoud Nasser, and I'll be part of the expert panel that will be mentoring and supporting the participating startups in the program. I'll be using my IT experience that focuses specifically on intelligent automation, data analytics, and process improvement. I'm really looking forward to collaborating with HQ and the Australian FinTech startup scene. I believe there's a massive potential in connecting the Australian tech scene with the MENA market, and really looking forward to be part of this program with HQGB. Looking forward to connecting with you all.
A big thank you to all the experts and entrepreneur in residence who will be consulting and supporting the program participants. Your role is essential for the success of the program, and I look forward to working with you. Next, I would like to share with you a success story of an Australian startup that already expanded to the MENA region. This was sent to us by Andrew Barter from Makers Empire, talking about their journey to the United Arab Emirates. This is what he said.
Hello and thank you. My name is Andrew Barter and I'm the Director of IT Operations at Makers Empire in Adelaide. At Makers Empire, we build fun and easy to use 3D design software for students to use in school, and we've been operating in the education technology space for about 6 years now. Back in 2018, we were lucky enough to be contacted by an edutech company in Dubai who were interested in using Makers Empire across all of the public schools in the UAE. This company was a trusted advisor to the Ministry of Education and had a very close relationship with them to consult on tech solutions for over 250 schools across the country. This was exciting for us, especially as we didn't have any customers in the Middle East at that point in time. Right from the initial discussions, we discovered they were willing to innovate and transform and were actively seeking the best new technologies from all around the world. We thought it would be important for our team to travel over to UAE to meet the people we were working with, and this allowed us to hold some training sessions, understand more about how they operated. Travelling to the region was critical in helping us meet the key stakeholders and build a strong relationship with our partners. Once we had secured a deal with the ministry in UAE, this was a fantastic opportunity to do a media release and promote our capabilities to the rest of the world, especially in that region. So we've now been working with UAE for about 3 years, and students have created more than 2.5 million designs in our software. We're a major component of the design and tech curriculum for primary schools, and we had the pleasure of seeing students use our software firsthand while we're in the UAE. Probably my most important piece of advice from our experience is the value of the trusted partner in the region. Having a partner situated in Dubai who could work directly with our customer was vitally important. Now that we've established our product in the UAE and proven that it works well in schools, we're looking to expand into other countries in the Middle East. Overall, it has been very exciting to see the strategic vision of the education market in UAE and witness the pace of progress that they continue to move at. UAE has undergone a meteoric economic rise over the past decades, which has transformed the country, and I'd certainly recommend making the move to that region. Don't be hesitant because the opportunities are truly endless. That's all for today, but if you have any questions, feel free to contact me via email at andrew@makersempire.com. And thanks a lot for your time. Bye.
Thank you, Andrew, for sharing with us your experience. I'm sure that this will give motivation to all our Australian startups listening right now. The second story will be presented live by one of our program's experts who is joining us virtually on Zoom. To introduce our expert, I will give you Vivianka Long, Headquarter Manager, who is running the virtual event. Viv, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Hussam. Hi, everyone. I'm Vivianka. I'm joining live from the City of Melbourne Town Hall. With that is David Davies, CEO of AgUnity. AgUnity is a philanthropic venture using blockchain and smartphone technology to improve the lives of small farmer cooperatives in developing countries. David, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Viviana.
Wonderful. Would you please share with the audience about your venture and in scaling internationally, as well as your interest in the North African region?
So hi, everyone. I'm David Davies, founder of AgUnity. In your pocket, you probably have a smartphone like the one I would be showing you. And that phone really connects you with all the services that you need to live your life conveniently nowadays. But phones like yours and the apps that you use are going to be pretty useless for a smallholder farmer somewhere like Ethiopia or Sudan, because it was designed to meet your needs and not theirs. AgUnity takes a sort of a $50 smartphone and transforms it into a tool which enables a farmer to lift herself out of poverty. And in order to do that, we couldn't just build a simple downloadable app. We actually transformed how the very phone works. So we changed all the things that a normal phone or an app can't, such as designing a user experience specifically for people who've never owned any technology before. And we give them a digital identity and we make it work in remote areas with no coverage. And we also record all their transactions on the blockchain. We mostly work with farmers that live on just a couple of acres of land and where they probably earn only a few dollars a day. And we've seen situations where after getting a phone like this, the farmers have increased their income by 2 or 3-fold. And that's really by better cooperating and working together with other farmers. And it also gives them access to things like a marketplace, banking, safe, affordable credit, insurance and learning. And from those things, AgUnity connects the farmers to other networks. Now, What's very important about what we do is we work with a lot of commodity buyers. So we've already done a very successful project in Ethiopia with the World Food Programme. We're working on projects in Uganda with CASA, in Kenya with USAID, and also quite a few projects in the West African region as well. And our extent of coverage extends all the way from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean right across to the Papua New Guinea and Pacific Islands, but Africa is our really concentrated place. Now, what our interest in the Middle East is quite important because it goes in two directions. We work with a lot of commodity buyers, and as everyone from Middle East would understand, the countries like Egypt, which we're hoping to work with World Food Programme in Egypt very soon, Sudan, Ethiopia, they're intended to be the breadbasket for the Middle East. All those countries could be producing perhaps 2 to 3 times the output that they do at the moment. They're predominantly really small farmers. Those farmers can earn a lot more if they're better organised, if their food systems work more efficiently, and they can provide a lot more food into the Middle East region. So AgUnity partners with a vast number of organisations, from NGOs like World Food Programme to commodity buyers like Fairtrade. We also work with banks to enable the payment services, and we work with a lot of companies selling products into those communities that they can't normally get, like solar lights and water filters and implements for their farm. So when we go into a country, it really is important for us to have a lot of partners. If we were to sort of start a project in Sudan, we've got great discussions with the government going, but what we really want is, a commodity buyer in the Middle East that's looking to buy the produce out of Sudan. We'd also like to work with an NGO and maybe a telco in Sudan. So we're looking to line up lots of partnerships across the region so that when we get, a situation where we're ready to go on a project, we can bring a lot of partners in that make that really successful for the farmers, because, this literally does, we time and time again see farmers who are, living hand to mouth suddenly be able to profoundly change their lives. We can impact them, but we can also impact people on the other side, getting better foods, getting more reliable supplies into countries, into countries like the Middle East.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, David. You certainly have a good and deep experience and understanding of the MENA markets. So thank you for sharing that. What have you learned from your overall experience, and what is one message you would like to leave for startups looking to expand?
We've always found that working in Middle East and North Africa takes a lot more patience than other markets. We can often go into a country like, Southeast Asia, and they move very quickly. It takes a long time to work up the relationships in Middle East. So companies wanting to move into that area need to be patient. They need to be very ethical, because, ethics and good relationships mean a lot in those regions. You need to go in as you expect to continue, and you need to be willing to be there for the long run.
Okay, thank you, David. Thanks for your time, and thank you for sharing your experience. Everyone, David is bringing his great experience as an expert to the MENA Bridge for Startups, and he will be consulting the participants of the program. So David, we look forward to having you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll now pass it back to Hussam.
Thank you, Viv. Thank you, David. Thank you, Anna and Dennis. Thank you all for coming here and sharing with us this beautiful evening. We have come to the end of our reveal and discussion. I thank you for your support. So this is only the start, and I look forward to having you all on board. Enjoy the dinner and the rest of your evening. Please connect with our team if you want to learn more about the program or if you have any question. Thank you.